All right, guys. Check it out. Bird and Bird, a different way to defraud. The lessons from the trial of Bitcoin's origins. So, these guys, right? Man, they're going to be shown. This has got to be recorded to show how evil and how wicked this company is. And we got to make sure that, see, we the people, at least in the United States, right? I don't know how it works with the UK, but we the people in the United States, we don't mess around when it comes to evil people, right? When you have child molesters and people who are obviously doing evil, guess what happens, right? So I'm going to show you how evil, how wicked this company is, right? So here we go, right? Look at what they say, right? So now remember, Craig Wright, he's behind BSV. BSV scales. It allows people on any side of the planet, even if they're only making $2 a day, they can send transactions directly to each other, wallet to wallet. And the transaction fees to update with the nodes is like 10,000th of a penny, right? Now BTC is the one that Craig now he's suing the partners of BTC because, well, they're telling everyone that it's Bitcoin, but they added SegWit, they added Taproot, they changed the protocol, right? And now it's like this elite thing. It's funded by MasterCard. You got all this thing. And look, here they say all this garbage, right? I watched the live stream of the case, now thoroughly proven false, right? First of all, what does it say in the Bible about liars? Okay, this is a lie because I watched the court case and it was obvious that Craig would explain everything when it came to data structures, when it came to Merkle trees, and they didn't know what they were talking about. But they would just say that he was a liar in middle of court. They would say he's a liar, which you're not supposed to do that in court, right? But the judge would support it when they would ask him like nonsensical questions. Like if I asked you, does the set of all sets which do not contain themselves, does it contain itself? Oh, you have to answer the question. You have to answer it. It doesn't make any sense. You can't say yes or no because neither of them would logically make sense. The set can't exist. So it's so funny how evil they are. Look at this. In claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto, he tried to blah, 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 blah. And then, right? So he's defending the real Bitcoin. And they're calling Bitcoin is a layered system. No, it's not a layered system. There's nothing in the white paper about it being a layered system. I mean, there's nodes and wallets, and that's it. There's no layer 2, like Lightning. That's SegWit coin. That's what exactly. It's like these guys are either paid off by Blockstream or they are just, I don't know, they're paid off by MasterCard or something or whatever. There's funding trees that you can look at. I don't look into that. I just look into how Bitcoin works, right? I don't look into all these conspiracies, but it becomes clear when you start just saying, like, when you start saying math and people start making it political, the red flags should go off, right? All financial systems have some level of fraud. Yeah, and Bitcoin has the level of fraud where when they took the ticker symbol BTC, they told everyone this is Bitcoin, and they changed it so there's no digital signatures. And BSV is now the original chain with the original headers. So if you want to be able to send transactions that are lawful, you would do that. If these guys were real lawyers, they would be defending BSV and saying, "Oh, that's how you keep the law," right? they should be pointing out how CraigWright.net on the website was explaining how double hashing works. You take one hash of the data, and then you can separate all the data from the actual Merkle tree of combining the transactions, so that you can play around with combining them in a tree. And you can, if somebody posts, like, say, an illegal image or something, the nodes don't have to serve that data, but they can still show the hash of that hash, and they can still sit, and they can sell the mining. Guess what? They don't understand that. Why? Because Blockstream doesn't even understand that. The only person who explained that on their website was Craig Wright, and they somehow, like, convinced, the court or whatever, or the judge or someone, to, like, make him, like, take down the website, even though it's just educational, just teaching math, right? I'm just showing you how these are not mathematicians. They're just wicked, lying lawyers. Real lawyers defend someone who's doing what's right, and they prosecute someone who's doing something evil. So when you're stealing from someone or killing someone, they prosecute you if they're good lawyers, and they defend you if somebody's falsely accusing you. But these lawyers don't do that, do they? They don't care about anything except, I guess, their pockets. So these aren't real lawyers. They're just some kind of, I don't know what they are, but they're not real. So anyway, history repeats itself. In 2016, Craig Wright came forward as Satoshi Nakamoto. See, what's painful is I know firsthand what it's like to give your life, literally, like, to beg God to torture me for trillions of years instead of a mosquito for infinite years, right? Because that's more pain, right? So I know what it's like to love other people in a way that, regardless of what they do, their attitude. And when I see Craig Wright, I'm like, oh, I'm listening to him. I verify his math, his computer science. I realize, yeah, people didn't listen to him when he explained how Bitcoin works. I can listen to all these different videos. I can see that they're not listening to him when he's telling them the truth. And I'm like, wow, that reminds me of me, because that was the same thing that happened to me. But of course, when you have satanic lawyers like this, like Luciferian, Satan worshiping, they have no respect for God. Then look, they come in and they make fun of and they attack this type of person, the type of person who just wants to get everyone to make the correct technology and use and know what the correct one is. So that's why he's doing the right thing with the passing off case, because he doesn't have to claim to be Satoshi Nakamoto. He can just use the evidence, the clear-cut facts about what BSV is and what BTC is, to prove that they're lying about what it is. It doesn't matter who Satoshi Nakamoto is. They're lying about what the definition of Bitcoin, because they literally changed it. So over the course of 8 years, he sued journalists, commentators, researchers, developers, and companies. Well, he hasn't sued me yet. I mean, what did I ever do that, we should be scared he's going to sue us? Well, it's every time I've heard about him suing someone, he literally he doesn't even do anything to say, you have to pay me this much money. He never says, oh, well, you need to do, like, this specific thing, right? He always just says, all you need to do is obey the law and I will stop suing you. That's literally every time I've heard any case of him suing someone, it's literally been, oh, I will stop suing you if you simply obey the law and you don't try to harass someone. If you obey the law and you quit lying about if you obey the law and you just tell people the truth about, X, Y, Z, and that's it. Literally, like, he doesn't sue anyone without saying, like, you just have to, obey the law. And I'm not interested in suing you. But do they do it? No, they don't. In the form of assets he valued at hundreds of billions of pounds, right? And they're so dumb. Like, these other websites say that he's suing for 1.3 billion. No, he's suing on behalf of everyone who has the wrong Bitcoin, so that they can actually sue Blockstream. Everyone who's had to go to an ATM and they pull out BTC thinking that it's the real Bitcoin, those people are going to group together and they're going to sue Blockstream because they're being lied to. And Bird is obviously going to be your enemy because they love that you're being lied to. So these are not just Craig Wright's enemies, these are your enemies because they're supporting you being lied to. So here we go. Factual grounds. A rare occurrence indeed. Let's keep reading through this. It's so disgusting though. Like it's really disturbing to like see what they say. Like look at this. Look, Copa, right? They talk about Copa and look, hard fork BCH is itself a fork of the first Bitcoin project, right? Which, okay, so here they're describing new competing cryptocurrency. Number one, it's not a cryptocurrency. The only thing crypto in Bitcoin are digital signatures and the SHA-256 hash. Nothing's encrypted. So when they say, oh, BSV is a fork of BCH, you're liars. No, it's not a fork. BTC is a fork. My goodness, these people are so disgusting. They're such fraud liars, these lawyers. So here we go. Bird on behalf of Copa. And somewhere in here, I remember they say something about Copa being like, man, you guys gotta, you gotta know, if these guys ever come to the United States, just remember, we got our freedom through militia, not the U.S. Army, through militia. So when the people get together and say, no, we're gonna do what happened, remember what happened at the end of World War II? We went after everyone who was perpetuating all of Hitler's killing of these Jews. The Jews came and got justice, and they got to watch their attackers hung, right? So what do you think is going to happen with these guys? What do you think? Are they going to be able to pay back $1.3 trillion that they're deceiving people when BTC crashes and like BlackRock sells it and Blockstream sells it? Are they going to say anything? Are they going to have any money for that to pay you back? How do you think they're going to have to pay? I just want to know. Just give me a comment on how do you think they would have to pay for that? If they only have, let's say they only have a few billion in assets, but they need to pay a few trillion. So how do you think else these people need to pay, right? So I think I read somewhere on here, I don't know where it was, but they were saying that it was a non-profit. The thing about Copa is that Adam Back didn't even admit that he was part of Copa. So they weren't even being upfront about who was part of Copa, who wasn't. Nothing about they would not bring all the evidence to the table. Craig would bring all the evidence, whether it supported him or not. So you can see he wasn't doing anything to twist the case in his favor. He wasn't biasing anything. He was just presenting everything exactly how it was. So that's going to come bite you in the butt because either you think that justice will be served or you don't. And eventually, maybe it doesn't happen in court, but eventually justice comes and bites you in the butt, right? So these people don't really care about, I guess. I don't know what they think they're getting away with. Handwritten notes back to 2007 and 2008, but the notepads themselves were more modern and would not be created after 2010. See, if they can't even explain what BSV is, like, are you gonna like believe this little? Why are they even putting this on their website anyway? Right? They're just trying to, because they know they have to actually double down and like act like he's a fraud, because it's like, how else are you gonna like deal with it when you realize that everything he's saying is correct and everything that Copa is doing has been just to defraud everyone? So how are you going to deal with that? Are you just going to keep perpetuating your own little, cognitive dissonance? This is insane. Math is math. Decentralized means that you don't depend on nodes and edges. It doesn't mean spread out like a mesh where you're disconnected. You don't disconnect a network. You don't say, oh, I'm going to sever my connection from this to this other node so that we're more decentralized. That's not what it means. It means you connect to more nodes. A network needs more connections if possible, not less connections. It's called a small world network. It's not a mesh. It's a double spend network. A mesh is where you don't care about what information is where. You only care about local information, like local, like if you're like trying to get reputation, word of mouth, right? But if you're doing double spend, you need to get all the information needs to be on the same place at the same time. So from the wallet's point of view, you connect to a node. The nodes themselves are connected as you view them as a central point, but the nodes themselves, when you look at their network, they're decentralized, but they're a clique network, which means they're all connected with each other with a lot of edges. So that means no matter which node you connect to or which nodes get shut down, it still works well. And a small world network, it's not exactly a clique, it's a small world network. But do these guys know anything about small world networks? No, they'll just, obviously all they did was they just talked with these Copa people behind the scenes. And this is exactly how these like secret societies work and how these wicked people work. They always talk behind your back and they always assume whatever someone says behind your back rather than talking to you directly and finding out the truth from you. So instead of talking to Wright and asking him, so how does this network work? So what is a Merkle tree? They'll pretend to ask him these questions, but then they'll like not listen to him and like act like he didn't know what he was talking about. But I was there watching the court like in its video live stream, and it was pretty obvious that they didn't know what the heck they were talking about. And neither did the Coppola guys, who were supposedly experts. Craig was actually the only real expert, right? So, eminent cryptographers, inventors of C++. Wow, that's interesting. So, are we talking about Bjarne Starstrup here? Was he there or what? What's the deal? I don't understand. Inventors. There's one inventor of C++. That's Bjarne Starstrup. I mean, you can talk about libraries, but that's not the C++ language. That's libraries. So you'd have to say inventors of C++, libraries, I guess, which are not things to be invented. They're just written, like implemented. So I don't understand how you can have, like, why is this plural? There's one okay. And even from Wright's former statistics professor? Oh, shoot. Right, because okay, so you know what we should do? We should discount completely and just throw out, like, say Einstein. We should throw out Einstein because why do we listen to his theories? They're wrong because Einstein's teacher didn't like him. Duh. That's logic, right? Appeal to authority. So, yeah, we don't need to listen to Einstein because obviously Einstein's math has to be wrong. Not because we used math to prove it wrong, but because Einstein's teacher didn't like him. So we're going to do that with Wright. We're going to say, oh, his physics. And we're not going to feel bad about it at all. It doesn't matter that Craig Wright is autistic. It doesn't matter that he's a genius, right? You can take his IQ. So legally, you're lying if you don't say that he's a genius, actually. So, and also that he has like 20 master's degrees, but that's okay. We're just gonna not. It's okay because as long as we think he's a fraud, we're gonna throw out any morals and ethics, and it doesn't matter if somebody's disabled, right? So whoever these Bird and Bird guys are, they don't care that God's gonna come back and do something to their grandmothers, to their children, to whatever in their family. Because they're cursing themselves by putting this type of trash out there because they're pure evil. And these people, anytime you don't repent of being purely evil, destruction is at your door. I'm telling you. Because why? Because we the people who actually have love for justice and righteousness, We have someone on our side who we pray to and who will come and burn you up if you don't repent, if you don't change and admit that you're wrong. So that means on this website, you admit that you're wrong. You say, yeah, we're pieces of trash. Which, does that happen this day and age? I mean, not often. So, I mean, most likely, what's going to happen to Bird and Bird? Well, just think fire, right? Who usually dies deaths in burning fire, right? What kind of people are that, right? The claims were promoted through a campaign of litigation that touched 3 continents. After troubles in Australia, Wright moved to the UK and began to sue commentators and journalists who spoke out against him. Well, let me see. Hold on a second. Wasn't that somebody who's literally like threatening to rape his wife? I don't know. I'm trying to remember that. Oh yeah, it's on YouTube. We can just listen to it. So that's on YouTube. You can listen to it. At least if it's about Hodlonaut, I guess. He also issued a case against the pseudonymous owner of the Bitcoin.org domain. Okay, so yeah, no, nothing fishy going on here, right? It's obviously he's a jerk for trying to sue for the website that he bought. But he's not the one who bought it. You got to prove that. Okay, so let me guess. Somebody else said that they were formally handed it from Satoshi. Nope. They said, well, nobody just contacted me and we just removed his access. So literally somebody blocked Satoshi's access and they admit it. And you're going to tell me that somehow that's not fishy when he's trying to sue them? Like, that makes any sense. I would do exactly what he's doing because he's doing the right thing. He's suing people who are lying and attacking people they shouldn't be attacking, and he's literally giving them a way out. So they really don't have an excuse now because he doesn't even just sue them. He gives them the way out, and the way out is just to follow the law and not do things that are going to like get people, not allow people to trade illegally. Come on. You guys don't. This is really disturbing, and just think about this. This is on a lawyer website, right? Just think about that. They're like, I'm pretty sure these guys represented him too, so they're actually like, basically being like these. They're being double Judases because why would you you turn on some like. Have you ever heard? I've never even heard of a lawyer turning on like somebody that they're defending, like even if they're like a murderer or a rapist, and yet they turn on Craig. It doesn't make any sense unless the story of Jesus is correct, where everyone decides, hey, you can curse our children, but we want to trade Jesus for we want Barvis to live, and we want Jesus to die. Because Jesus obviously is the one doing everything wrong from their point of view. And everybody else is right. So, right? What do they say? Everyone is Satoshi except Craig. So, man, it's like you can't get any more disrespectful and any more dishonorable than that. And that's how I know like these secret societies are also evil, because they don't stand up and make a statement about this. Like if a secret society was actually honorable, they would stand up and they would be like, yeah, no, you're going to be put to, down under because you're a piece of, burning, smelly trash. And we're going to put a formal statement that we're not going to disrespect our human beings like Craig Wright. But no, they don't do anything like that. They don't stand up for other human beings. They just stand up for their own. They're just like any other, like the FBI, CIA. They only stand up for their own reputation in the end. They don't stand up to protect your actual life because they don't care about what the meaning of life is. They just care about their own reputation and money. They're just pussies. Like they're just cowards. These people are like the lowest of the low. Like, look how fancy their website is. Like, look at my channel. You're not gonna see anything like super fancy. Why? Because I care about my subscribers and just telling them the truth more than I care about trying to be flashy for them. The forgery wasn't over yet. Oh yeah, he's a forgery. Even though all the BSV evidence is there, let's see. Number one, digital signatures. Number two, Turing completeness. It can do all smart contracts. Number three, million times cheaper. All the evidence is there, and yet they can still be like, it's like doubling down on. It's like if you go in the afterlife and somebody just goes straight up to Satan and there's like, I love you, like as they're being pulled into like the, into like the darkness. Man, these people are just, man, these are so crazy. Judge stood up. Right, this proves it once and for all, right? When a judge says it, I can't wait for a judge to say 1 + 1 = 3. So we're going to see what happens because God is going to do see, these people don't understand. They don't fear. It's like they don't fear the Almighty. They have no respect. And they like go off the edge, and it's just like, you really think that God's gonna like, that you're not all gonna be like, I mean, this is gonna hurt a lot more than a whooping by your grandpa. This is gonna hurt a lot more and be a lot more permanent. What's coming? I'm telling you, and they're writing this on their website, and they're bringing all these other people with them, and I'm actually worried for people because what's gonna come for them? When they have thousands of people supporting them and following them and believing all this, what's coming when justice is served, real justice, I mean, not like fake justice like this, when the law of justice comes, it's going to be horrific. I'm telling you. I know that the God that I'm telling you guys about, he's very serious about making sure that things are done justly and protecting his people. And when he does his thing, it is gonna sting your eyes when you see it. It's gonna sting your eyes just to see what happens to these people. These people are beyond. These people are like as wicked as those people that were like, I'll do anything. I want to sacrifice my own life just to make sure that I see Jesus suffer to death. How could he possibly heal people? How wicked could he be, right? That's their claim, right? That's exactly the same type of attitude. And they deceive themselves. They want to convince themselves that they're like somehow protecting like Bitcoin as though like, as though the BTC people don't say that, oh, we have the hash power. Like if you really thought it was a better network, you wouldn't have to defend it, right? So, yep. Boy, open source licenses. Boy, these people are really full of it, man. These people are disgusting. Man, it spread the word, guys. Spread the word, please.